Hello, hello, good evening, hello. Welcome to Chimi's Creative Club. I am your host, Chimi, and welcome to my kitchen. It's been a little while since we were last in here, but I thought, we got to get back into the kitchen because we've been drawing, we've been doing all these wonderful things. We made a crown, we're doing all the crafts. So, we're back in the kitchen because today we are going to bake a classic. Now, if many of you, which I know, there's lots of long gamers in the chat, we've got lots of wonderful people from everywhere. We know that Kevy Kev loves a chocolate chip cookie. So in honor of Kevy Kev today, we're going to bake some cookies, okay? So how are we? What's going on? Tell me everything. How are you? Let me see who's in the chat. I know Miss Terry Doria, my queen, is here. Hello. Hello, Miss Terry Doria. Miss Melanie, how are you? Miss Patricia, I appreciate you for being here or for catching the replay. I love you. Thank you so much for being here. Miss Captain Harris, our gorgeous Captain Harris, how are you, beautiful? And Miss Cecilia, how are you? Good to see you. So, like I said, we are going to be baking today. We're going to make Kevy Kev his cookies because we've been talking about cookies for so long that I'm like, we got to do this. So first things first, I'm aware. Second thing, I don't care. But what we are going to do is go over some other things that are really, really exciting. So I just got from Miss Becky G, my book has arrived. Okay. Chucky in the City. Okay, we're going to look at this a little bit later, but I just wanted to tell Miss Becky G that the quality is quality-ing. Okay, it's the hardcover. Yes, we love, adore. It's so cute. I can't wait to look into it a little bit later, but if she doesn't want people to see the inside, I just want to ask her for permission. You know what I mean? So there's that. I just saw Miss Manda Maurice. Oh my God, how are you, beautiful? Hello, Miss Bossy. Hi. Yes, Miss Elisa. How are you, Miss 808, my girl? Yes, Becky, look what came in. Stop. It is so cute. The quality is fantastic. I didn't want to open it in case you're like, let people see it. But, I just wanted to show the people that it is real. It is adorable. It is so cute. Like hard copy. We love. So Miss Becky G, she has a book, a children's book. I have posted it in my stream when I did, I think, which one did I do? The Flower Crown? Yes. And it's in my community post. So definitely check it out. Go support your friends who do cool things. Okay. Please do that. Oh, I can show it. Okay, cool. All right. So let's go through this because I feel like, this is very lighthearted, very cute. I love this. So we can go inside. So this is Chucky in the City, the curious cat who loved to explore. Stop it. My kitty might come a little later, but look at these illustrations. Like, stop it. I'm not going to do all of it, but look how cute. Look how cute. Miss Christy, how are you, beautiful? Look. Miss Captain Harris, how are you, beautiful? Look how cute. Look. Hi there. I'm Chucky. What's your name? Stop. Oh my God, it's so adorable. Like, are you kidding me? How cute is that? I am so excited. I told my daughter that, I had a friend on the internet who made her own book, and my daughter loves to draw. Like, she had let us know that she wanted to be an illustrator. So this is just really inspirational to see that, for her to see that, even someone close to me in some way was able to create something. So this is really cool for her to have. And I'm just very excited to share this with her and with all of you. Like, look at the little cats. Mira qué bonito. Stop it. Okay, so I'm going to get into this a little bit later while we wait for our cookies to cool, because if you missed the intro, honey, we are making cookies for Kevy Kev. Yes. Yep. We've been talking about chocolate chip cookies for a little while now, and I think it's time that we dive into this classic, okay? Because it's one of my favorite things. And if I'm going to talk about a spiritual awakening, I need a little sweet treat because, it's a lot. So let me put this over to the side, okay? Bye, my Chucky in the City. I love you. I see you very soon, okay? I see you very soon. So let's talk ingredients, honey, because listen, I have the oven preheating currently because, we got to get the oven nice at 350 degrees. so that it's nice and warm. So when our cookies go in, they can bake like this and we can get them out, and it is what it is. But that means that I had to turn off my AC because my kitchen is like 5 years away from my AC. So I have like fans going. You know, we got to improvise. We got to make it work. And since all of my setup tends to move around my house, I either sit down and draw or I'm in the kitchen. It's all of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? So, chocolate chip cookies. Listen, I have a poll ready for y'all. I want to know, aside from the beautiful people who voted today, thank you, to decide what chocolate you're into. I learned a lot about you ladies today. Okay, and everyone who voted, I learned a lot. I am personally team, I don't care what kind of chocolate, I love it. But it seems like there was a tie between, or something very close between, the milk chocolate and the dark chocolate. I'm sorry to all the white chocolate girlies. It did not work, okay? Like, listen, I know Miss Bossy, Miss Elisa, they love a good white chocolate. But, you know, the white chocolate did not make it very far. But I have another poll for you ladies, if I can find it. And gentleman, maybe a gentleman. Here we go. Show. What are we? Are we team chewy, crispy, or a little bit of both? I want to know. However, I don't know if the poll means that, like, I think you have to type 1, 2, or 3. So if you guys can try, just pick the one that you want. And let's see. What are we feeling? Because I am a soft girl. I like a nice, chewy, melty, delicious type of cookie. Okay. Like, that's what I love to have. Okay. So let me say what's up to the chat. So Miss Raka is here. Miss Erin, what's up, girl? How are you, Miss Nurse of Interest? Mi reina linda. Ya tú sabes. Yes. Oh, yes, Miss Melanie. Yes. Hi, Oxy. How are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, beauties. Thank you so much for being here. My internet might be a little bit slow, it seems like. We'll be fine. Anyway, before we get into all of that, while you all vote, cheers to another Friday. Thank you all so much for being here. I know my last video was out of the ordinary, but, you know, love and light to everyone. We'll get into that a little bit later. Nothing crazy. I think everything that needed to be said was said. But, you know, love and light to everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Oh, lots of chewies. Cheers to everyone. Lots of chewies. Let me find out my chewy girls. Yes. Period. So I'm going to look really quickly to see what's the final result on the poll on my page. Let's see. Vamos a ver. Let me see. Oh, at 7%, we have Team White Chocolate. At 40%, we have Team Milk Chocolate. At 33%, we have Team Dark. And 21%, just like me, says, I don't care as long as it's chocolate. So, period. All right. So it seems like milk is winning. And to be honest, did Kevy vote? Because I heard through the grapevine that Kevy loves a milk chocolate chip. So that's what we're going to do. But because I love all of you, I have all 3. So let's get into the ingredients, okay? While the oven is still preheating and doing its thing, let's talk about ingredients because honestly, you guys, if you're going to have a classic of anything, you already know that your girl is very much Kerrygold butter, okay? The one gold that I absolutely adore is Kerrygold, okay? Salted. Always, period. It's my favorite, okay? But aside from that, what makes a really good chocolate chip cookie is chocolate, okay? And I am a big fan of this brand. I don't know if anyone has seen this before, but, you know, lately Toll House, in the States, Toll House, like all the brands that you can find, Ghirardelli, what other one, like Hershey's, they're not as great as they used to be because I think like now lately, because the cost of chocolate has increased so much, the quality of the chocolate now is like with a lot of fillers. So you're getting very little chocolate. So you'll see like people like bending Hershey's chocolate bars like it's plastic. And it's like, I'm not feeding y'all plastic, okay? These are definitely a little bit more pricey, but they're definitely worth it because it yields the most buttery, delicious, yummy chocolate flavor. Like they're my favorite. You can eat them straight out of the bag. Don't worry about it. I have eaten them straight out of the bag and there might have been a whole bag gone in one day. Okay, listen, it's just one of those days, okay? Depending on that time, all right? So what I like to do when I do buy chocolates, because I used to bake, I like to label them and put them in these containers. At some point, I'm going to move into not doing plastic. I'm going to do all glass, but I just label them with blue tape. So I have here the milk, some semi-sweet, and some white. So what I am going to do while you guys are all voting for the poll, I'm going to make sure that we separate our batch of cookie dough into 3 so that everyone has a little something. I don't want to be greedy, okay? I want to share the love even with my white chocolate girlies, all right? So let me, yes, Miss Ramona. Listen, Miss Ramona. I know it's Irish. Yes, it is. It's my favorite butter. Not sponsored, maybe one day will be. We're manifesting, okay? Love Kerrygold butter. It is not a joke, okay? So speaking of Kerrygold butter, what we're gonna do, I'm gonna put Kitchen Cam. Say hi to Kitchen Cam, aka Art Cam, aka the whole Cam. Yes, we're gonna put her up on the stage. Let me see. I might have to remove myself. Hold on. All right. Can we do this? Let's see. Okay. Hi. How are you? So let's see. Can I switch this over? Or do I need to move myself? Hold on. Let me see. My mubbin. All right, I'm going to remove myself. 3, 2, 1. I'll BRB 1 second. Let me see what's going on. My mubbin. Okay, remove. Oh, Lord, Mamma Mia. Oh, Mamma Mia. We're doing this again. Ay, Dios. All right, so hold on. Let me remove myself again and the other one. Pardon the technical difficulties, okay? Yes. Okay, hold on 1 second. I think I did it. Hi. Can we see? Hello. Yes. Is it delayed? Lots of ASMR. Just let me know if you can see it. And we're going to start. So hello, beautiful people. Thank you so much. Yay. Excellent. Thank you so much, Miss Elisa. So let's go ahead. My fans are blowing all my towels to the floor. Ay, Dios, mira eso, please. So first things first, we're going to take our pan. Seems like there's a little bit of a delay, but that's fine. And we're going to take our Kerrygold. Hi. We're going to take our Kerrygold. And we're going to cut 8 tablespoons of Kerrygold butter. And we're going to melt this on our stovetop. So the good thing about this butter is that it usually has the indicators of how many tablespoons are in here. And 1 block is usually two sticks of butter. Did I say tablespoons? Sticks. It's 2 sticks of butter, so there's 16 tablespoons. So we're going to do 8, which is half of the bar. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We'll cut that there. I like to make an indentation, and then that should be good to be able to take this out. Oh, this stuff smells so good. Who loves Kerrygold butter? I know Ramona does, and I'm sure they have even better butter in Ireland, but this is like the best butter in my opinion. Irish butter is fire. This New York girl, when I discovered Kerrygold butter, I was like, hi, I want to bathe in it always. All right, so that's good enough. Let's put this one over here. It might be a little over, but you're fine, okay? It'll be fine. And we're going to get this over to the stovetop to be able to melt this butter. You just want to melt it, and then we're going to let it cool. So on about medium heat, we're going to start letting it melt and do its thing. And while that's happening, we're going to take our other bowl, and we're going to separate our dry ingredients. So I've got my bowl here. Let's see. Can we see? Yes. Okay. So for our dry ingredients, we are going to need 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour. Any flour is fine. You don't have to use organic, but in my opinion, my favorite flour is King Arthur, one of the best flours. And we're going to need 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt. So let's go ahead and add that in. So I've got my flour. I usually like to store my flour in these containers. They're amazing. I love it. And I'm going to teach you how to properly measure because we didn't do that last time. Just give me 1 second. Let me see something because I feel like I'm missing something here on my recipe. Did I not write this correctly? I was talking to Terry earlier, so I probably got distracted. That's my fault. Let me see. So let me just make sure I have everything together because listen, honey, Not me making a recipe and then y'all don't have it right. You see? I was missing half a teaspoon of baking soda. Mira eso. Hello. Half a teaspoon of baking soda. Duh. We need a leavening outside of our end. So now that that's solidified, right? We got our plants together. Okay, está bien. Let's measure some flour. So 1.5 cups. I like to take my flour first with our measuring spoon, or measuring cup. If you don't have like one in here like I do, you can just use yours. But what I like to do is fluff up my flour to get it nice and loose because it's usually compact inside the container. And I'm just going to measure, let's do it like this, by pouring it into the measuring cup. Now, I'm not packing it in there. I'm just literally just letting it fall. And then I'm going to swipe the top. And that's a cup. And I'm going to put it in my bowl. And now we need half a cup. So let's get half a cup and do that again. So we're going to fluff it up, get that flour nice and fluffy. Put it into our half cup measuring cup and just like let it like fall in there. Very nice. Look at that, like a little snow. There you go. Next, we're gonna say thank you, flour. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. Let's put you back over here. And let's get our salt. And we're gonna get our baking soda, which I have over here as well. So into this bowl, let me grab my measuring spoons. Listen, I got everything in my dishwasher. Anybody else? So we're going to do half a teaspoon of baking soda. And same with the baking soda. This one, it doesn't matter if you pack it, but I just kind of like to swipe it off to the side so it levels. We'll add that there. And some salt. Now, I know that the Kerrygold has salt in it, but honestly, adding a little bit more salt is going to be all right. Because we're going to add salt to the top of the cookies later. Okay, listen. We love a salty sweet in this house, all right? So that's done. Let me grab my whisk and just mix this a little bit to incorporate, and that's it. Now let's move this off to the side. Now, for our sugar, what makes a delicious chocolate chip cookie the most chewy, most delectable thing you've ever had in your life is a combination of both white sugar and brown sugar. Now, I am a big, 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 big lover of dark brown sugar. Of all the brown sugars, dark is far superior. And the brand that I like to use is the India Tree, the dark muscovado sugar. God, listen. It is so fire. Like, it's just like the best texture. It just has the best flavor. And it's one of my favorites, like by far. It smells amazing. For the holidays, I go through this like nothing. Oh, we might have a friend. Mira, Mr. Nosy. Hi, my love. Hi. My kitty has arrived. Hi, my love. I know. Oh, you see the butter. See, my cat not only is so bougetto, he loves to have Kerrygold butter. Every morning, my husband puts out the cutting board, and he knows that he's going to have to lick a little bit of Kerrygold butter because he's fancy like that, okay? Mira, you already had some earlier, okay? We got to make sure that your heart is functioning. I don't want the vet to be like, what are you giving this cat? Por favor, please. Let me put this away before he tries to attack me, okay? You stay right there. Yes. Okay, so let's go ahead and get our dark brown sugar. Now for dark brown sugar, we're going to need 1/4 cup. And for dark brown sugar, you want to be able to pack it. That means it's going to look like a little puck of sand. So you just really want to like press it into your measuring cup. Really press it. Level it as best as you can. And if you go a little over, it's fine. Hi, I need you to mind your business. I need you to leave the kitchen. Por favor. Yes. Your father's coming. Yes. He's coming. Oh. So, dark brown sugar in the bowl. Just like that. Like a nice little puck. And we're going to do 1/2 cup of regular granulated sugar. Our butter sounds like it's starting to melt. Mira, you're screaming at me, please. Oh. Look at that. Yes, I love that. So this is a good point. Like I would say if you're melting butter or anything and you see some of it like kind of like not all the way melted, this is fine. You don't got to worry about it, okay? So I'm going to let this cool now that this is kind of melted perfectly. I'm going to let it cool off to the side. And we're going to get our half cup of granulated sugar. So you can use cane sugar. I know some people prefer that. Granulated is fine. Cane sugar is fine. It really doesn't matter. I'm going to use the regular white stuff I got at Costco. At Costco. Mira eso, at Costco. We went to Costco, and that's where I got my sugar. So same with this. Just kind of put in half a cup of this right here. Hold on one sec. Let's move you over. Same thing. Level it off. And into the bowl it goes. Nice. So let me put away this sugar because I packed it to the brim, of course. Ooh, let me get it in there. Señor, por favor. It's like playing, look, you're going to help me like, I need some encouragement. Let's go, get in there. Por favor. There we go. Hey. And we got all of our sugars nice and incorporated here, kind of. So let's go ahead and break this apart and try to mix it together just as best as you can. You don't have to worry about it, but definitely for the brown sugar, you want to break it up as much as possible at this stage before you add your butter. It just makes it so that, you know, we don't have such big clumps of dark brown sugar in there. So I'm just going to get that in there and really work it in there. Get your aggression out. Yes. Miss Elisa says, I thought brown sugar was just sugar in its natural state. Actually, no. And that's actually a great point. Any brown sugar usually has molasses added to it. So this one just has a little bit more molasses than, let's say, a light brown. They just add less of it. Miss Boston Brandy, hi, beautiful. How are you? Welcome, welcome. Passion, how are you? Good to see you. Y punto. We're going to leave that alone. So, again, if you weren't here earlier, Miss Barely, how are you, beautiful? Thank you for being here. If you weren't here earlier, we're making chocolate chip cookies for Kevy Kev, and his favorite is milk chocolate. This brand is fantastic, okay? I love it, I love it, I love it, I love it. It's fantastic. So, Mr. Kevy Kev, this one's for you. Listen, I wish I was your neighbor. Okay, listen, Miss Boston Brandy, stop playing with me. Okay, we would be baking, we would have a beveragino, and we would just be chilling. Yup, we'll be chilling. So let me check my butter and make sure it looks good. So we just melted some butter, and this is a very easy, like, 2-bowl recipe. So you don't need a mixer or anything like that for all my people who don't have a mixer. So let's see. Still feels warm. Who has grandma hands? I do. I'm already ready to be a nonna. Like, I touch hot things, and my husband's like, is your hand not burning? No. That's what I do. Yes. All right, so let's let it cool a little bit longer. And while we do that, let's put this over to the side, and let me introduce you to who my daughter brought for me today. Her little macaroon friend. This is my little macaroon friend. How cute. Mira que cute. Stop it. I love it. She's so cute. So she's my little kitchen companion today. And while we wait for that, let's talk about, again, the chocolate. So the poll was clear that everybody likes milk chocolate. And I'm actually really surprised, to be honest. Like, I'm actually really surprised because I feel like most people love like dark chocolate, or maybe it's just because I've only been around bakers and I only watch food content, and all the food content people are like, you want to use some dark chocolate, you know? But I like all of them, in my opinion. So it is what it is. Hey, Frank, what's up? Dímelo, Frank. Dímelo, dímelo, dímelo. Yes, good to see you. Thank you for being here. Hey, EJ, that beautiful picture of yours. Stop it. Yes, they're for Kevy. So, you know what? I want to get to this. So even if the butter is a little bit hotter than normal, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. Okay, so let's add this butter to our bowl. Let me make sure I have it somewhat here. And add this liquid gold. Oh, Yes, Lord. And listen, we don't do wasting an ounce, okay? So I'm gonna just take my spatula and I'm gonna get all of this out of here because listen, Kevy Kev deserves all the Kerrygold, okay? We're not missing a drop, a droplet. Yes. Let's get that all out. That looks about right. And I'm gonna keep my spatula handy in my sink, okay? It'll be fine. And let's mix this all together. Look at that. You see? So when you break up the sugar, it just makes it a little bit easier to kind of stir everything together and get all of the brown sugar, all those granules, kind of like moist. That is the worst word in history, moist. We're just gonna like just leave that alone. So at this stage, we're gonna add our egg. And again, our egg is for our binder and also for our leavening. So see how like it's starting to really like almost like look like a caramel. Oh, I'm telling you, the smell of this stuff is so good. You have no idea. Hi, Dennis. It's so hard for me to say Dennis because I've been calling you Mr. Sweeney. But hi, Dennis. I want to respect how you would like to be called. Good to see you. Thank you for being here. Yes, Frank. Amen to that. It's the only butter. It's the only butter for sourdough, period. So let's crack our egg. I am not playing around, okay? I am not going to do a one-handed trick because, listen, on live, I'll probably get a shell, and I am not going to embarrass myself like that, okay? So let's do this off to the side. Let's get our egg in there. Boom. Which I also left out at room temperature for about 30 minutes, which is sufficient. And we're going to add this to our bowl. Look how cute that is. Love. Now let's mix. And get this nice and incorporated. Yes, I love to see it. Look at that. Look at this beauty. So at this point, you don't want to go like too ham. Okay, like this is perfect. I mean, looks good to me. You don't have to go too crazy because the more air that you incorporate at this stage, it's gonna not really give you that fudgy, like chewy texture that you want in a cookie. So I kind of like to leave it like this. And mira, I was so prepared, minus the vanilla. So hold on 1 second. I need to get my vanilla. This is the brand I love to use. This one here. It's one of my faves. I don't know if anybody else uses this one. You can find this at Costco. They're really great. And it's pretty affordable for what it is. So let me open this. And this is vanilla bean paste. Now, I measure vanilla with my heart. It's a very expensive measure. It's a love for you. But you know what? We'll be fine. So I'm just going to gloop and glop. That seems about right. And we'll mix that in before we start getting our dry ingredients. So let's mix, 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 mix. Beautiful. So now we're going to switch over to our spatula because now we're going to slowly fold in the flour to be able to get all of like the dough together. So it's going to be a loose dough, but it's fine. We'll live. So let's get our bowl with our dry ingredients. So again, in here we have the flour, salt, and the baking soda. So let's do a little bit at a time. And just slowly start to like fold it in. So you want to go from the bottom and work it up. Like that. How we doing tonight, everyone? Yes. Oh my God, girl, Miss Bossy, it smells so good in here. I can't. Like I have to refrain from like eating the raw cookie dough because it's the flour, not really the egg that has like the issue. So raw flour is not good for you, you guys. Please heat treat your flour if you want raw cookie dough. You have to. The egg, there's less chances of you getting salmonella from your eggs. All right, so now that we got that, let's do the rest of this. Did she call me Chimi Stewart? Stop it. I feel like my voice has to change and everything for that. All right, so let's go ahead and incorporate the rest of this. So I'm going to leave the chocolate chips out because I am going to add like basically every flavor of chocolate to this batch, but in threes. So we're going to separate this into thirds and scoop it onto our lined cookie sheet. But I want to show you what the dough looks like. So it's going to give you a little give, but it's also still going to be really soft like that. So you see, like it's still kind of like, you know, falls off the spatula really nicely, but that's fine. It is what it is. And that's it. Like you don't want to go too crazy because we're still going to mix the chocolate chips. So what I am going to do is grab this bowl and I'm going to do about a third. So, I mean, I don't know. That's like roughly like here. This will be all right. We'll do mostly milk chocolate chip because Kevy likes milk chocolate. So we're going to do mostly milk chocolate chip for our boy Kevy Kev 781 on the Cash App. I can't stop saying that, you guys. Anybody else? I can't just call him Kevy. I have to say it's on the Cash App. I can't stop it. All right, so here. Let's move this over. And then now for chocolate chips, you measure with your heart, honey. It's usually 3/4 of a cup, but I mean, who's really going to take out a 3/4 of a cup measurement to add this here? Absolutely not me, okay? So I'm going to measure with my heart and just do this. Seems about right. Okay, so that looks about right. Yes. Beautiful. So now that we've got that, I'm also going to teach you how to make them very aesthetic, okay? So on my lined cookie sheets, I have parchment paper. You don't want to grease your pan for this. You definitely want to use parchment paper. It just makes it easier for cleanup later. So let's see. Am I going to straighten this? Is this straight enough? Let's see. I feel like there's like a little bit of a delay with my camera. So if it's off to the side, it's fine. All right. So let's do our milk chocolate chip cookies. And you're just going to scoop it. This is a 1.5. Ooh, that's not for anyone. Don't worry about it. You didn't see that. This is a 1.5 tablespoon scoop. So we're going to do a nice little mound there. And you want to separate them about 2 to 3 inches apart because they will spread for you. And we're just going to add these to our cookie sheet. Yes. Renee, actually, no, it's not wax paper. It's parchment paper. So parchment paper is a little bit different than wax. It's not as sticky or waxy, rather. You know what? I think we're going to have to do, I have a feeling in my bones that we're going to have to do two batches. So you know what? We're not going to do that. We're just going to do the milk chocolate right now. Let's do 4 of those. Move this off to the side. Let's move this off to the side. Let's do some semi-sweet and then we'll do some of the white chocolate. So let me get my other bowl, remove all this. Look, y'all got me washing so many dishes right now. All because I want to be fair to everyone. I want everyone to have a cookie, okay? Everyone, the white chocolate fans, the semi-sweet, and the milk, okay? So in this bowl, let's do the white chocolate. Let's do some white chocolate chips. Yes. Again, measure with your heart. That seems about right. Okay. That felt right. All right. So let's mix these in. Maybe that was too many. You guys, I went a little heavy-handed, my white chocolate friends. I literally was like, hi, do you want some white chocolate with your cookie? Holy banana boat. What? Let's do a little bit more of this. All right, Mia. Let me not get so heavy-handed. I'm Latin. More is more. Okay? What do you want from me? All right. That seems about right. Let's get our cookie sheet back over here. And listen, if they just spread and one of those fails happen, I'm fine with it because I'm just going to eat it. Okay? It'll be fine. We'll live. All right? Not every baking live is going to be perfect. Oh my God, you guys, this is so absurd how many white chocolate chips there are. Stop it. We're only going to fit like 2 of them in here. I cannot believe I did that. You guys, the diabetes in this is out of control. I can't. Stop it. I cannot. Yeah, do the Kevin Kev, do the Kevin Kev, do the Kevin Kev, do the Kevin Kev. I love it. All right, so let's leave our other one here, and now let's do some semi-sweet in this tiny little bowl. Let me not OD on this time, you guys. My gosh. All right, that's fine. Oh my God, that's totally fine. Oh my God. What a disaster. Oh my God, I can't even. Is this going to be my first baking fail? It'll be fine. It'll be totally fine. All right, that seems acceptable, okay? I don't know what in the what happened, but it's fine. We'll live. Look at this dough. It's like struggling. Like, if I saw this, you guys, I am a baker, I promise. What in the what? Oh my God, this is so funny to me right now. I can't even deal. The professionals of the world are like, do not follow this lady. Absolutely not. Nick Barrows, can Chimi bake cookies? Absolutely not. All right, this will be fine. Everything will be great. The Lordeth is with us, all right? Actually, let's put some here. All right, now that we got our blue beet blobbies in there, let me move some of these bowls, my God. Under normal circumstances, I would be like washing as I go, but we're live, honey, and I have no time for that. So what I like to do, because like usually chocolate chip cookies have like, you know, the aesthetic ones, they have like all of these like really cute like chocolate chips. Like this is kind of like what I'm going for. So when it bakes, you still have some of the chips on the outside. So I'm going to add some more of the chips on these. I think are all the semi-sweet. And we're just going to leave it on the outside. So you just want to place them similar to what we did with the bowl stock. You just kind of want to leave it on the outside like that. So that way when they bake, you can still see it and it looks like a nice little cookie. Look how cute. We might need to wait an hour for these to cool because there's so much chocolate in them. I can't even deal. Uh-oh. But here's a good thing. These tend to bake up very quickly because it's such a like fast recipe. You don't have to do all this extra stuff. Like you don't have to bake them for too long so that they can stay nice and fudgy. So I'm going to bake them probably like we're going to start with 6 minutes. That's how fast it is for these. And we'll see from there. I'm going to leave that one alone because that just is chocolate. And for the milk ones, let's add a few on the outside. Thank God I'm not selling these because I would not sell this. Absolutely not. Oh my God. I would not sell these at all. Are you kidding me? But they're going to be delicious. Don't worry about it. Trust me. Trust me when I tell you that. Yes. Okay, so what I am going to do, because the aesthetic right now is just not giving, I am going to use another little spatula to kind of like help them get a little bit more together. Because Lord have mercy, not you embarrassing me. Listen, can you kind of look aesthetic? Yes, perfect. Let's just make them more of a little mound. So that way, when they spread a little bit slower than when they're too flat. So I'm just going to keep pushing them in. This is very oddly satisfying. Like anyone else love those like oddly satisfying, like watching people slice things, watching people like peel paint, you know? I love that. So let's keep these kind of like this. Nice, okay. That is a direct consequence of the butter being a little bit too hot, but that's all right. They'll still taste good, and that's what matters. All right, so let's get all of these chocolates. Oh my God, there's so many in this one. What was I thinking, you guys? Stop it. Okay, let's get these guys together. Honestly, I might think even like 4 minutes, because the thing with a chewy cookie is you want it to be slightly underbaked. Like once it's in there over like 2, 3 minutes, it's safe to eat. I mean, it's such a high temperature it's going in, so you don't have to worry about it for like anyone who's worried. So I'm gonna check after 4 minutes. But look how cute, so much better, right? Yes. Love, love, love to see it. All right, so let's get these into our oven at 350 degrees. We're gonna move them in and we're gonna bake. So excuse me while I put them in and pray to the cookie gods that we get a decent cookie for y'all. Let's set our timer. Let's say 5. 5 seems good. And let me get this off of the stage. Let's see. Hi, hi, hi. Hi. You guys, I took the camera off because Lord have mercy. Listen. That was a mess. I don't even want to look at my sink, okay? I don't want to look at it. Cheers to everyone who's here. Thank you so much. It's so awesome to have everyone here. So I saw a question. I'm going to put it up on the stage. Chimi, do you list your ingredients? Let me just put this one on the stage. Hi, Jack. Jack Snacks. Jack Snacks. Oh my God, I can't even read with my glasses, honey. Chimi, do you list your ingredients before you go live so we can bake with you? You know what? That might have to be a thing that we do. I think that's a great idea. I would love for all of you to bake with me. It would be so fun. Are you kidding me? My gosh, Michelle Beach, how are you? Hello, my love. Hi, how are you? And good night to is it Lily Anoa? Good night. Thank you so much for coming. I call you Garner. Okay, I hope that's okay. Garner 5473. I love you. Thank you so much for being here. My gosh, you guys. Listen, Linda. Yes, yes, Becky G. And while the cookies are in there, you know what? Let's revisit Miss Becky G's adorable little book. Stop it. You guys, please go to my community posts from last week. I think it was last week we did it. And she is an author. She has this beautiful, beautiful book out on Amazon for kids ages 0 to 8. I'm very excited to share this with my daughter because she is also 8 years old. So I know she's going to get some enjoyment out of it. And if anything, she's going to get some inspo because my daughter, just like, you know, her dad and I, we are artists. And she loves to draw. She loves to do a lot of illustrative work. So I'm really excited for her to have something in her hands from someone that is relatively like, I kind of know, like even if it's online, who did this. So definitely support your friends, you guys, because her illustrations, the book is so cute. I cannot wait to read it. Like, stop it. I have to show you again. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Becky. I'm like showing your book. I'm like showing everybody the inside, but it's so cute. Look at Chucky. Stop. Look how cute. I love the aesthetic. It's so cute. He just has like such a cute little face. Look at this. I can't. Adorable. I love this so much. But there was one with the 3 little gatitos. Let me see the 3 little kids. Yes, right here. 3 little kittens have lost their mittens. Okay, mira. How cute is that? Oh, stop. And listen, Miss Bossy, y'all need to check out Miss Bossy. And that's all I'm going to say. You need to check out her resin work. It is so beautiful. Like, I'm like, how do I get it here from Canada? Because the resin work is giving. Fantastic. It's beautiful. I love it. Yes, Becky, they're his friends. Oh, it's so cute. I can't wait to read it. I just think it's so cool to like have like a hard copy, like a book. It's like so awesome. I'm so excited to support you. So while we wait, because we have what? 2 minutes. Let me check really quickly. Let me see. Oven light. Show me the cookies. Okay. It's giving. It's probably going to need another minute or so, but it's working. The Lord, the cookie gods are with us today. They're spreading nice and even, which I love. And listen, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm probably going to have to mix the rest of this dough together and just make one big massive lump, which I hope it's okay with everybody, okay? Because it's going to be me eating them, all right? And my daughter. So let's go ahead and get the milk chocolate and the white chocolate chip dough together in our bowl. So I'm just going to mix them all together. And you know what? Who's not going to like this? Is it going to be very sweet? Yes. Do I care? No. It's fine. We will live. Everything is fine in life, okay? Now, how I like to store the rest of this stuff, what I like to do is to wait for it to get cold. So I'm just going to transfer this into this bowl and get it in the fridge. And once it's, I just realized I didn't have my kitchen cam. So I'm going to take the rest of this dough and put it into a smaller bowl, mix these two up, and then I'm going to put them in the fridge before I scoop them. And how I like to freeze them is to put them on like a plate lined with like parchment. And from there, what you can do is like scoop them and put them, after they freeze, you can put them in a Ziploc bag and they're good for like a month. All right, let's check these cookies, you guys. Look at us like multitasking. I mean, listen, your girl is doing all the things, okay? Let me see these guys. Okay, they're spreading. They definitely need a little bit more time. So I'm going to go another 2 minutes and leave it like that. But ideally, you know, if you want like smaller cookies, or not smaller, but ones that don't spread as much, what you want to do is just put the dough in the fridge and then you can like scoop it there. And because the butter solidifies, it takes longer for it to spread when you bake it. So let's put this back in the fridge. We'll put it in the fridge. And let's wait for our first batch of cookies. I'm so excited, you guys. And you can leave it like that. You don't got to do like, you know, covered y todo eso. Like, it's fine. It'll be fine. Okay? It'll be totally fine. So what's the verdict? Everyone likes chewy cookies? You're my people. I knew it. I knew it. I knew you would love chewy cookies. They're so good. Oh my God, stop it. And has anyone tried these before? These chocolate chips? Because they're fire. I'm just letting you know. They're fire. So let's see the chat. What's going on? Tell me everything. Let's see. Are y'all talking about, oh, I love all that love from Miss Becky G. Please go like support her. Go support everyone that like is doing like really cool work. I love being able to use my space to share that with everyone. So please do support each other. It's like the best thing ever. How's everybody else doing? Hi. Oh, Miss Bossy's work. I think Bossy, it's on your page, right? Like it's just your name, which I love. Oh my God, Melanie, right? Her stuff is going to be so awesome. It is awesome. It's beautiful. Her color choices, the way everything kind of flows together. Stop. I love it. Erin, the name of the book is Chucky in the City. Chucky in the City, the curious cat who loved to explore. So cute. So let's check these cookies again. Let me see. Vamos a ver. Let's see. I think they should be fine. Yep. All right. Perfecto. Perfecto. I want you to see this. So let me get my camera back on the stage. Let's see. Hi, that's me again. Hi. Yes, that's a close-up of me. Hi. Yeah. Hi. We're going to leave it like this time, okay? So, look how silly these look. Stop it. Now, most bakeries and most places that you go to are not going to have like the cookies looking all janky like this. So what I like to do is while they're still warm, I like to take a round cookie cutter and you can reshape your cookies into a nice round shape. Now they look underdone. I know, that's the point. You want them to be a little bit underdone and you can preserve its round, beautiful shape by kind of like working that cookie cutter like that. Look how gorgeous that is. Stop it. This looks like it's like, you know, like one of those like, little Play-Doh cookies. So let's go ahead and just like kind of like back and forth, get it nice and round. That's the trick, you guys. People don't talk about that a lot. So let's do that and get all of them nice into a nice round shape. This one had a chocolate chip all spilling on the side. I know, mira eso. Let's clean that up. Not taking the whole paper towel, but let's clean that up. Don't come for me with like, oh my God, you're wasting paper towels. Leave me alone. I don't use them often. Okay. Let's get this like that. And then last one. And also at this stage too, if let's say you wanted to add more chocolate chips to the top so that you have like not such a sparse looking cookie like that, they're still perfectly warm enough that you can add some more. So I am going to add a few more of the semi-sweet, and these will kind of just start to melt right into the cookie. So hi, aesthetics. How are ya? Look how cute. Nice and round. And then to finish them, before we put them off to cool, let's put one on this side. Just like that. And then let's get the semi-sweet. Personally, the semi-sweet is my favorite, but that's just me. So let's go ahead and put these like that. Nice. And before we get them to cool off to the side, we're going to add some Malden sea salt. Now, if you love flaky salt, you're going to love flaky salt on top of these cookies. There is something about salt when it's just on a nice, like, chewy, fudgy, sweet cookie. That salt really brings out the sweetness in a different way. And I like to add it at this stage so that once they start to cool, it kind of sets into the cookie. So I like to keep my Malden salt in one of these like little glass containers. So let's just take a little bit off to the side here. And I just realized this whole thing is all like, it's fine. It's fine. I don't care that it's off to the side. And just kind of sprinkle a little bit everywhere. Look at those chunks. Yes. Especially on the white chocolate. Yes. You know, just kind of like nestle it in there. Love. And then we're going to let these cool for a little while so that we can actually try one. Okay. Let's put these like this. Excellent. Put this salt back. And let's chit chat, you guys. I'm so, oh my gosh, you have no idea how excited I am that like we got these cookies baked. And how long have you been streaming? For an hour? Not bad. So let's go ahead and turn this off because it's hot. Mira, cancel. Thank you very much, oven. And while the oven is off, let me put these over here. Let's say goodbye to Kitchen Cam. Thank you, my Kitchen Cam. I love you. Let's remove you and get you out the way. Hi. Hi. Stop it. We made cookies. We're going to try them in a little bit, but I cannot eat it right now. It'll fall apart and it's going to be like a hot mess. So let me get my chair. I'm going to chit chat for a little bit. So I need to bring my chair over here. I wish I had a bar stool, but I don't. So you're just going to have to see me like sitting in front of my dishwasher like, hey. Look at me here. Hi. Hi, guys. It's the best we can do, okay? Listen. Stop it. You see my fan over there? My nice door? Yes. How are you guys? My yoga blocks for my computer so I can have it high up so I can see things. What's up, everyone? Yes, they're so cute. Like the cookies are everything. The poll has been completed. Let me see. I think it's in assets, maybe widgets. Is it in a widget? Let me turn this guy off and remove this guy. Thank you so much, my friend. Stop camera. Stop poll. Hide poll. See comments. Look at me. Look at me doing all this stuff, you guys. Stop it. Let me know if you can still hear me okay, because now that I'm standing, I got to move this down. So let me know. You know what's so funny, Melanie? Miss 808 was like, everyone's going to be obsessed with your door and the color of your door. I'm like, you're right. You are correct, girl. Yes. Hi, Miss D, my kitty sister. How are you? Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Passion. I'm so excited to see you guys. Oh, they're right there. Look, they're cooling over there. My cookies. Let me bring my friends. My daughter bought my little friend here. So cute. So yeah, we made cookies. Thank you for your patience as I figure out like everything that I'm doing, because like it's kind of hard to have a permanent setup when my setup tends to move around a lot. So like I have, I sit in my on my dining room table for like the art stuff, and then in the kitchen, the setup with the cam and the microphone has to be a little bit different. Um, but it's great though. Like I think like we're making it work with what we have. So again, cheers everyone. I am so patched. I'm so patched. It's so hot. I got the fans going. The perimenopause is happening. Delicious. And let's talk spiritual awakening while we wait for our cookies to cool so we can have a little taste test. So first things first, I am going to address something that I just have to, just because, I have a zero tolerance policy for this. As you know, like my live earlier this week is what it is. And because I chose to spoke up, there was a threat that was made to me. In my video, I wasn't threatening anyone. I don't believe in that. So what I would say is I have to, for documentation purposes, just have this out there. I don't condone that. I don't consent to that. I will certainly not be in fear of said threats, but at the same time, like, if that's what you're supporting, it's safe to assume who it could be. But if that's what you're supporting, I'm just going to say, please leave. Like, don't be here. Please unsubscribe from my channel if that's what you choose to support. I think it's very clear that that is highly inappropriate, and I don't condone that. I don't consent to that, and that's not cool. So we can all have our opinions on the internet. All of us have our own story to tell. So respectfully, those type of things are not acceptable, and that's just not gonna fly here. It will be on my page for a reason. I wish it didn't have to come this way, but it didn't have to be like this at all. But no threats, not in my comments, not towards my audience, not towards obviously me and my family. Absolutely not. So with that said, God bless everybody. The truth will come out as it's meant to, and that's where I'm going to leave that. So let's get into our spiritual awakening. How many of y'all have gone through a spiritual awakening, honey? Because listen, your girl looks very funny sitting on this chair, like almost the same height as the oven. But I can't help it, you guys, okay? Like, look, just place me anywhere. Spiritual awakening. So mine started actually 5 years ago. So it was August 2021. And I was already kind of on a downward spiral in my personal life. I was a content creator before. I used to bake cakes, and I used to do this on Instagram. I had a pretty substantial following. I think I had like almost like 20,000 people follow me, which isn't bad, or I think like around that number. I can't remember exactly, but I was kind of a micro influencer. I did work with Duncan Hines, Nordic Wear, Chobani, like kind of pretty big brands. I was auditioning for shows. Like I had auditioned for Food Network. I actually made it onto a show, but I'm going to leave that little nugget for a different day. And I made it, but I didn't go on it. And that's for a whole nother story. Okay. But, I was kind of like in this energy of like, I taught myself how to bake. I was getting a little bit of attention for it online. And, the baking world is very cookie cutter, no pun intended. Okay. But it was just like, not like there's less personality when you're online on that level. So, I was putting out content. I was working a regular 9 to 5, and I would do baking on the weekends, and people would hire me to do events and all this other stuff. So there was a lot going on. Then in 2018, I had my daughter. And I think that was kind of the beginning of the downward spiral. Um, Postpartum was not easy for me. And it's part of the reason why I kind of hesitated to look into the Lindsay Clancy case, because it is such a tragic case. It's a tragic story. And I think that there's still parts of me that haven't healed through what happened during that time period. So, I still struggle with like releasing the guilt of feeling like I wasn't adequate enough as a mom to be able to feed my daughter, or like how can I be depressed, like my pregnancy was so beautiful and like I have this baby and now my body's not functioning to be able to even breastfeed her. And it was a really difficult experience because I was just like really hard on myself because of it. Obviously, like all new moms, we gained a lot of weight. Like we gained weight. I mean, I gained some weight. I gained like 30, 40 pounds. I didn't feel quite like myself. My energy was really low. And I felt embarrassed to be depressed because I was like, why am I? This is supposed to be the happiest time of my life. And here I am miserable. And what I realized at the time is that the people around me, I'm going to leave their identities and relations private just because, like, even though I no longer associate with certain people, I don't want to, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to go there. But certain people were around me and exploited that. Like, it became this chaotic environment of not only was my upbringing difficult with, like, not knowing the truth about what was going on in my environment. Um, Now those same people were present in my new baby's life. And I was failing as a mom and I didn't know who to turn to or who to ask because everyone was just like, oh, it's fine. You'll get over it in like 3 weeks. Like, drink this, drink that. The first week with my daughter was like probably the worst. Like, she was crying all the time. She was very colicky. And it was really difficult. Like, it was a really difficult first year. But I also was hanging out with people that were single. I was married, hanging out with people that were single. Like, I had gotten into a relationship really young and I just wasn't, I feel like I had missed out on life. And I wasn't, I felt like I was missing things. So I was trying to fill my cup, my very empty cup, with people, with bad habits, with, clothing, makeup, escaping through art, but not really addressing what the root of the issue was. And since I had so many people that really were just around me, kind of filling space and not really providing the support, the adequate support that I needed, it just was like there's just bodies, but there's no one home. There's no one there. So I might have had a lot of friends, but I still felt so alone. And I felt horrible as a mom. I felt like I was terrible as a wife. I didn't feel good about where I was going, even though like I had gotten an opportunity to go on Food Network and do all of these things. It just was like everything was moving downward. So the devil, okay, loves to work through people, places, and things when you're at your lowest. So usually postpartum, you're the most vulnerable. And when you're kind of going through that experience alone, because you can't explain your feelings and it seems like people are just dismissing them because they don't understand and have full context of that. Like, especially because like as a Latin person, it's a very taboo thing. Like we don't talk about those things. Okay. It's a very, no, we don't do that. So it was really hard. And it just felt like my life was falling apart. Everything that I had built was not working anymore. Every time I try to do more, it's like there were more doors that were like slowly closing, or I wasn't seeing things as clear as I thought I saw them. And it wasn't until August 2021, everything had to stop. And it was a big situation that occurred. And for privacy reasons, I'm not going to get into what that was. But that changed my entire life. And I felt like God was like, Hi, like my short said. Hi, Chimi. It's me again. I've been here the whole time, but sometimes you don't see me. I know. I know. But we got to talk, girl. Sit down. Get your beveragino. Okay. Get your beveragino. Take a sip. Yes. So about that, the last 35 years have been questionable. Yep. We've got a lot of people, places, and things that aren't in alignment with what I want you to do with your life. It's not the Food Network route. You can't handle attention like that. You think the internet's going to be bad, girl? With zero confidence and everyone looking at you 5 years ago? Girl, no. No. That's not for you. Nope. It's not for you. Your baby chose to be your daughter because you, Chimi, are a generational curse breaker. I know. I know. Listen, I know. Okay, I know. It's a hard job. But in order for your daughter to not have to deal with this stuff, it's got to be you, my love. Yep, it's got to be you. So I'm sitting there listening to God, like, are you kidding me right now? Like, what do you mean? What does it all mean? What does it mean? Like in a Nightmare Before Christmas, Jack, he's like, in his lab, and he's like trying to identify, like, the baubles from the Christmas tree, and he's looking at it and like, crushing it into like some like lab thing. And he's like, what does it mean? What does it mean? That was me. I was like, what does this mean? What does this mean that I have to walk away from everything I knew? What does this mean that I have to shut down something that I spent 10 years building? Like my Instagram, my business, like what I had going on, like I clearly had the skill set and the talent. I just wasn't mentally ready or equipped to handle it because I had so many internal wounds that I had to tend to. I was masking them big time. And God really was just like, girl, shut it down. So my life went from having so many people around me to being in full isolation mode and having to decipher what God was trying to Morse code to me and try to translate it in a way that made sense. Because when you go through this experience, at least in my personal experience, it feels like you're paranoid. It feels like the world around you, it's like a veil gets lifted, the band-aid gets pulled off, and you're like in this reality. It feels like an alternate reality. You're like, but nope, doesn't make sense anymore. That identity is no longer you. And I sat with myself for 4.5 years. And granted, like I was kind of behind the scenes, like watching trials. Like I watched the Johnny Depp trial, but I just never had the courage to like comment or chat. I was like, I'm not ready for that. I'm not ready to talk to people. I had walked away from so many friends and so many people because I realized, like, what does it mean to be a friend to somebody? What does it mean to be a relative? What does it mean to be, a coworker? Whatever the case may be, a woman, my own identity, like, what does it mean? Who am I? And that process required for me to walk away from a lot of people and a lot of situations that also I wasn't great in, but also weren't great to me. So they just weren't connections that were very balanced. So when I started to see like my life and do like kind of like a midway life review, I was just like, I'm not operating at my best. I'm hiding what I'm really hurt about. And sure, baking helped because baking was a way for me to escape. But at some point, when the escape isn't there anymore, you have to sit and confront what you're hiding from. And that was hard because it's taking personal inventory of how to hold yourself accountable and how you showed up for other people. And my upbringing with my family was very difficult. Again, to protect privacy, I don't want to really delve into it online. I feel like, it, regardless of how I may feel about what happened or my interpretation or views of things, like the other people are not really consenting to that. So I feel like wrong divulging too much of it because they're no longer in my life anyway. So it doesn't really matter anymore. But it took for me to like put myself in the position of someone who I looked up to at the time, who was older than me, and try to understand why this person behaved the way that they do. And, you know, I know like I tend to be like, you know, for this age, why are you doing this? This is why, is because a lot of the behaviors that I see are very familiar to me. And when you grow up with a childhood where you become the parent and the adult and also the scapegoat, because, you know, I'm the youngest, but how dare I have an opinion? How dare I speak up? You can't speak up. But it's like, I couldn't speak up because I saw exactly what was happening and I was silenced. And I didn't realize that like I was overcompensating as I grew as an adult. So because I felt so empty as a child and so alone as a child, I tried to fill my cup with more people as an adult. I tried to make more friends with people. I made excuses for the red flags. I just like wanted to feel company. I wanted to feel seen because at home I wasn't seen. I was just kind of like in my own world. I was constantly in a state of escapism all the time, drawing. I was a hyper perfectionist at school. I wanted to be really good at school because I figured out, I was like, well, if I do really well at school, then that means that I'll be loved more, or I'll do better, or they'll see me more. I'll get recognized, you know, I won't be put to the side. So it was just like, I had to learn how to survive, like the neglect. And I have to say, like, you know, I understand why the adults around me were doing that because they experienced their own issues. And that's a part of what the spiritual awakening process taught me. It was like, maybe I was given this because I could handle it and I could come into it with compassion later in life once I understood the why. So sometimes I know that like a lot of the things that I may talk about may come from a perspective of like, you know, it could come off as like age shaming or ageism. And that's not where the intent is. It's just more like, I do think that at some point, as adults and people who are older, we should be elders, right? Like what happened to the elders? They held a certain level of wisdom, they had a certain level of maturity. So, yeah, like when you reach a certain age, there should be the expectation that you are conducting yourself appropriately. I had to figure out how to be a woman, how to be an adult, how to be a mom on my own without proper guidance. And that was tough. And on top of that, be judged for it. You know what I mean? Like, that's not easy. Okay. And I'm sure many people can relate to that, especially if you're the youngest or whatever age you're in. You know, like it's hard. So like I think I have a little bit more of a sensitive spot when I spot this type of stuff because like I know the behavior. I've studied it, I've been around it, I grew up around it, so I could spot it in a minute and just be like, no. You know, because when I was too small then to say no, or I was too scared to say no because I still relied on these people to provide for me. So I was just like quiet and I had to eat it, you know. But now as an adult, I'm like, if I see something, I have to say something. And the unfortunate part is that it's not always going to be received the way that you intended. So during that process of isolation, it was for me to really focus on what mattered. How was I going to show up as a woman and as an example for my daughter? I didn't know how to be a parent. You know, I love my mom dearly. Okay. And she and I have come so far. So I will never disparage my mom on the internet. Like she truly has come a long way. I may not have agreed with a lot of things, but forgiveness is a big thing. Okay. And it's having the compassion for people that sometimes they don't know why they do the things that they do. So, you know, I like my mom wasn't in a position to be a parent at the time. She came from another country. my dad had passed when we were little, so she was kind of like on her own and trusted non-relatives to raise us, and that also creates issues. So, I think a lot of like what that spiritual awakening showed me was that I was holding on to a really big resentment towards my mother. Like my mother wound was so open because it was hard for me to trust her, and to like look at her and be like, well, why didn't you show me what I had to do? Why am I having to figure this out? Why am I the one that sees these things? And why am I being told that that's not real? So, because of that upbringing, like a lot of the way that my memory works is that there are gaps in it. Like, I don't remember a lot of my childhood. That's just a fact. I don't. And it sucks. There are other things that occurred that, I won't get into, but, it kind of distorted my lens. And I think that I have a tendency to disassociate and just kind of like be here, but not here. And I had to learn how to really ground myself and not use those coping mechanisms to like also just not experience that pain because I was too used to escaping it because it just felt like crap to like want to feel it. I didn't want to feel it. I didn't. I didn't want to have to confront that maybe I was wrong also in my part as an adult to not choose better, to not like make the right choice, to maybe not have more compassion. Like I'm always thinking. It's like I think I'm plagued with overthinking, but I'm trying to do it a lot differently. So like this kind of chaotic environment of like doing 5 things at once, I love to multitask. That my brain thrives in that. But stillness, why isn't there anything happening? You know what I mean? Like I can't, stillness is just not, it's just not it for me, you guys. I can't sit still sometimes until I was forced to. And when I took the call, because, after God and I had a nice long conversation, I was smoking at the time. I was smoking a lot of the devil's lettuce, honey. I am not going to say that I didn't do that. I sure as hell did. And it was wonderful at the time until I quit it cold turkey February 2022 and I never looked back. And obviously, like I have, like whoever chooses to do whatever it is that they want to do, fine. For me, I'm a Taurus, and we Tauruses, we love to indulge, and it's part of like the shadow aspect of our signs. And I had to stop because I was like, I don't want to bring that around my child. I don't want to like, have her feel like, I'm not present. I was just finding more ways to avoid the work that needed to be done. So I really made a big turnaround where I was like, I'm going to get my life right. I started to work out. I started to journal. I started to meditate. I learned how to pray. I learned how to connect to God in a different way. And granted, everyone's method is different. Not everyone goes to church. Not everyone, reads the Bible. Everyone has their own connection with spirit, with God, universe, creator of love and light. Okay. That for me was through meditation, through prayer. I did use tarot cards. I mean, I did like cards. I don't use them anymore. That's just because I don't connect to them the same anymore. It kind of got me through a rough period because I think at that point, what the cards did for me was to kind of illustrate through the cards what I was feeling. So I'm like, if I see a Queen of Pentacles, hi, that's us. That's me. That's all the earth signs. Hi, Queen of Pentacles. How are you? Okay. Then I see the devil and I'm like, okay, Queen of Pentacles, the devil. There's some things going on here. Then I'll be like the Three of Swords. Oh, heartbreak. Oh, yes, I'm feeling it. Like, so it was I used it as a tool to be able to understand what I was feeling because I didn't know what I was feeling. It was hard for me to like understand what that is. Okay. But then after a while, like I didn't need the tools anymore because for me, it was like, I started to learn how to not trust everything outside of me and learn to trust what was inside. That took time. I mean, I feel like trusting myself came a little bit more recently. So during that hiatus and having that time away, I started to also learn what it meant to be a wife. what it meant to be a woman. And baking took a whole different meaning. Instead of me like doing it for other people, I was like, all right, how can I take this and become more intentional with it? How can I start doing things from scratch, like really from scratch? So I started looking around my kitchen and I was like, all right, well, I know how to bake cakes. That was easy for me at the time. I know how to decorate cakes. That was easier for me at the time. But I was like, I don't know how to make bread. How do I make bread? And through the art of bread making, through cooking, like actually learning to cook from scratch, um, the way that I grew up. I mean, I will give them that. Like, you know, we didn't have much, but we always had food on the table, thank God. And through that, I started to learn, like, you know, this is how I'm going to heal from the beginning to the end and to watch the process, like to watch this dough turn into bread. What does it take to get there? And the patience that's required in that. So through my connection to food, through, you know, the beautification process, I started to really learn how to tend to my wounds, to have patience with myself, and to really just be like, you're not expected to be perfect. You're not going to be. Why are you so hard on yourself? Why do you do that? Why do you open yourself too much? Why do you ignore red flags? Why do you still have this level of not trusting you? And through that process, it's like, I was like, all right, one step at a time. And I was like, I'm going to only make birthday cakes for my loved ones. I'm going to do it for my daughter. So every birthday, she's going to have the best birthday cakes, the best set of cookies. Like every birthday has like its matching set of cookies. Those are like the to-go things, like the thank you, the favors are the sugar cookies that I make for her. And even if it's just our family, it's okay. It meant that it like holidays looked a little more scarce. There was less people, but there were people that actually wanted to be there. And reconnecting with my family, with my in-laws, and like not feeling so afraid to be silly and fun. You know, I felt like I needed to be a version that they accepted because they didn't speak English. So, you know, I was just trying to like kind of like be something I'm not. And I'm like, why am I doing that? And it's like the show, that version of the show is over. You know, like no more of that. Like I'm not going to do that. And you know, since I like chose to kind of like let go of all of these things, they accepted me more as who I was because I wasn't trying to be a version that they knew they could peep that it wasn't me. Let me tell you, Asian people, they don't play around. I love me, my Asian people, okay? I love my Asian people. But they're just like about that, you know, and I couldn't hide. I couldn't hide. So, you know, I had to really just take ownership for my own flaws, for who I was as a person, who I was becoming, and learn that. And it's not easy. It's so hard to be yourself in a place, in a world that honors and respects a follower mentality. That's just a fact. Like being like your own leader, not following the crowd, walking your own path is not easy, you guys. But am I going to keep doing it? Absolutely. Yep. We're going to cheers to that. Walk your own path. Yes. So, oh, this is hitting right now, you guys. Ooh. I love a poppy. I'm a poppy girl. Listen, I'm a poppy girl. Yes, I am a poppy girl. I love poppies. They're so good. They're like, you know, obviously what all the influencers drink. I mean, but you know, it's delicious. I love a poppy and a nice cold poppy, delicious. Yes, cheers, everyone. So, you know, I think that even when I came back into the space, like, you know, on the internet, it definitely was something that too is really challenging because no one knows you, right? So you're starting fresh and finding your identity meant like kind of like dissolving all of the stuff that I had let go of. And it's easy for those things to crack, for if there's a little crack, those old habits can come back in. Miss Elisa, a poppy, you're so cute. A poppy is just like a prebiotic soda. It's like a healthier soda. I love it. It's so good. Like it has like apple cider vinegar, and there's like a new flavor. It's sour apple. I'm collapsing into like bliss right now because it's so good. Like it's one of my favorites. Um, it's like one of my favorites. Right now I have like the blue raspberry or something. I mean, I look, if I'm gonna indulge in something, it's like I want to have something that I actually enjoy. Okay. So Poppy is the brand. They're very good. Um, so yeah, I think like when you come back into any space, when you get to know people and like you still want to put your best foot forward. I think there is some truth to that for all of us, right? But it's more the authenticity that gets lost when we try to like put on a mask. But like I have nothing to hide about myself anymore. Like I'm a lot more comfortable in just owning things and living that truth, even if it means that like I'm not accepted by everybody, but this is a part of who I am. And accepting who I am as a whole with all of the imperfections and all of the errors and things that I've done in my past, you know, the experimental phase of like just smoking every day and like being completely high out of my mind to just not want to feel anything to now feeling everything very heavy. It's like these are all aspects of who I am and they're all experiences. But one thing that I learned to be with what the spiritual awakening has taught me, the first one, because I feel like I just went through one just now, like recently, um, it's it's important to understand that like it doesn't happen to you. What's the saying? It doesn't happen to you, it happens for you. And it's because like I do believe that our higher source, God, and if that's what you believe in, is trying to align all of us to reach our highest potential to whatever our higher calling is. All of our callings are going to be different. Mine just so happens to be a little bit more public. Like I was made this way. It's in my chart, honey. Okay. Like, listen, that 10th house, it's very much giving this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So when you see it that way, it's like I just wasn't going about it that the right way because I wasn't being authentic to myself. And the only reason why it's working for me now is because I feel less like you would not catch me in an oversized pajama shirt with all this jewelry. Never. Definitely with a wingtip, maybe with a lip, definitely with the nails, but definitely the bun. But like I would want to be more put together. And it's like now I'm like, you know what? This is cool. I like it. And it is what it is. I'm not trying to impress anyone. Like it's just this is who I am. Take it or leave it. I understand I'm not for everyone, and that's okay. But that used to beat me up. Like that used to make me feel horrible that like I couldn't make everyone happy. And then it's like, girl, you're just not going to. You're just not going to. And sticking up for myself was definitely really a big lesson too. Just to learn how to speak up. And a part of like my wound is and was, I think it still is. If I'm being really honest, I think that wound is still healing itself, is knowing when and how to say things because it feels like it's never the right time. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like, we all like try to like, well, maybe if I wait for this moment, or maybe it's just never the right time. So it's almost like you just have to do things because they feel right to you. And you might hurt some feelings, and that's just a part of the process. Um, that's just the way our life is designed. So spiritual awakenings are humbling. They dismantle your entire reality like that you don't even have a second to be like, whoa, wait, hold up. No. Once that band-aid is off, it's off, honey. No more. No more. It's over. It's like, we're here. Yep. We're here. And there's nothing you can do about it. You can't go backwards. You could. You could choose not to heal the wounds, but then it's kind of like this. It's like, here's your, hi, I'm your spiritual awakening. Welcome. So now we're going to let go of all of these things. Okay. Yep. So that we can go up here. So let's say you're like, great, I'm going to do that. You start healing and you slowly start moving up, right? You start moving on up. Yes, we start moving on up. But then let's say you don't answer the call. So then you start here and it's like you start getting weighed down even lower. So the humbling becomes harder the more that you avoid taking your own inventory and taking your own responsibility. So as much as the spiritual awakening process can be daunting, it's frightening. It is. It's isolating. In my experience, mine was isolating. I didn't have anyone around me that knew what the hell was going on. Like, I would tell my husband, did you see that butterfly? It spiritually means, you know, like. I'm so guilty of that, you guys. Like, I would be like, a feather just fell. That means that's an ancestor visiting me. Like, literally, I was totally that person in the very beginning. Still today, like, I'm like, did you see that? The sequential numbers, you guys. I still do the numbers. I do them with Miss 808, Terry, and Renee all the time. Like, it's 11:11, make a wish. But there are parts of it that, like, you look back and it's kind of funny. Like, I'm just like, look at these things. Like, I'm like, you know, you start seeing the trees and then you start noticing like the sky is actually really blue and the clouds are like fluffy. And oh, you enjoy the sun a little bit more because you're so in your own mind when you're not awakened that you are blind. And you don't realize how blind you are until that veil gets lifted without you having a second to think about it. And then you're like, you see the real reality and you're like, what? Is this real life? Like, literally, like, it is just like the most mind boggling thing ever. So, you know, spiritual awakenings are difficult. Yes. Yes. You will have moments of euphoria of like, wow, I never appreciated the sun like I do today, you know, and you're just like frolicking in the grass. I mean, there is a level of that. At least it was for me. Like, I was just like more grateful for nature, more grateful for the little things, for like watching a flower like blossom, like the tomato plant. You guys, we've had 3 tomatoes from that plant and there's more growing. And I'm just like, that is beautiful to me. Like, that before, like, you could just go to the store and get a tomato and then you grow it yourself and you're like, look at the miracle of God. Like, literally, like, it's that. It's like you take more appreciation in the little things. And that's the beautiful part of the process. It's just you get to this level of appreciation after the crying, after the why is this happening? But then you realize that that moment is so temporary in the long scheme of like being free. And that ultimately is why, if you're on your spiritual awakening journey and you just started, hold on, okay? The freedom you feel afterwards of living very aloe effort, not trying to curse, okay, you guys? I'm trying. It's just so liberating. You feel free, or at least feel free to not feel like a prisoner in your own body. And that is, there's power in that. There is freedom. So I always tell people, like, you know, maybe I am a little bit wiser for my age and that I'm able to see things, but wisdom comes at any age that you choose to actually embrace it, in my opinion. Like, but to me, like, what I've been witnessing is that because of our AI world and like the age of technology and what's going on, like, we're kind of losing touch with the connection to self because it's so easy to get distracted. So if you're going to invest your time to watch me on your screens, then we're going to do something that's productive to help you maybe take a second to think that after you leave here, maybe it'll inspire you to do a little bit of work on yourself. Maybe you need to write out your feelings. Maybe call that person, say, I'm sorry, because they may not be here one day. Maybe take your own inventory and just be like, do I really want to be like this? You know, like it's those type of things. And that's the beauty about technology, is that we're able to share that together, you know? Hold on, I'm adjusting myself. Actually, I think these cookies might be ready, you guys. Should we try one? Put a cartwheel in the chat if we should try a cookie, because you know what? Your girl would love a cookie. I think I'm going to try one. I might have to do the milk chocolate for Kevy Kev. I'm just saying. What do we think? Should we have a cookie break? And I can take a look at the chat. Let me see. Stop it, you guys. Yes. I love this so much. What should my thumbnail be? Spiritual awakening with cookies. You know, like so cute. Yes. Okay. All right. Fine, you guys. You don't have to tell me twice. I'm going to have a cookie. I don't know which one. I think I'm going to do a milk chocolate in honor of Kevy Kev. Let's do this one right here since it's the closest. Yes. You're so cute, Bossy. I'll wait for you to get to your phone. You can see a cookie. Let me make sure it's not going to. Oh, little salt came off, but it's fine. Yes, it's so cute. I love it so much. It's so adorable. Listen, I'm not wasting the salt. The salt is French. It's very, you know, wee, and it's very delicious. Okay, so this is the first bite for you, you guys. Cheers for you. Thank you. Yes. I'm trying to see if you can see it. So it's a little bit flatter than I like, but it is very chewy. See how it kind of like breaks apart like that? I'm not going to eat this whole thing. I'm going to eat this whole thing. Okay, I'm going to put it on this paper towel that I left here. See? Cheers, everyone. Oh my God, it's so yummy. I think my daughter is still up. I'll probably let her have like a cookie before she goes to bed. I don't know if that's a good idea. A beveragino and a cookie? Life is beautiful, you guys. Cheers to that. Yes. Where's Kevy Kev? Do the Kevy Kev. Do the Kevy Kev. Hey, do the Kevy Kev. Do the Kevy Kev. Yes. Oh my God, so yummy. Chimi chips. Oh my God, so cute. So cute. You guys, and look, did it take that long to make a cookie? No. All right, I'm gonna leave that one alone. But delicious. I love it. Not too sweet. And that's what I love about that brand in particular. So you're getting more of the cocoa flavor as opposed to it being filled with more sugar. And definitely the dark brown sugar is a little bit richer than like a light brown. And it's the brown sugar that gives it the chewy kind of texture and keeps them moist, chewy. That's such a terrible word. There has to be a better adjective to describe a cookie. Like I would rather use like a very big vocabulary word than to like use that moist word. But they'll stay like these for sure will keep in like a little airtight container. What I would suggest is that you pop them in the freezer and make ice cream sandwiches. Yes. Make some ice cream sandwiches with these because they're soft enough. So they're like really chewy and like gooey and delicious. Love. So good. We make cookies. Oh! Here, so you guys can see it again. So we did for everyone. So for my white chocolate girls, Miss Elisa and Miss Flossie, I got you right there in the center. Yes. My dark chocolate people are over here on this side, and my milk chocolate is in the very front. A little bit for everyone. Yes, a chip witch. Yes, a chip witch cookie. Yes. And they're pretty straightforward. It's easy, and like I love that. So when in doubt, and you're feeling like you just want a little something, it doesn't take that long to make that, you know? Chip witch. They're so good. Oh my God. Look at Terry. Stop it. Stop it. Let's look at these beautiful pictures. Look, I know I'm not JFK and this is his thing. I'm not trying to take it, but you know. Yes, Miss Orange Shock Trauma. How are you, my love? Miss Oxy, our beautiful Pisces queen. Yes, Miss Elisa, our Taurus girl. Yes, our queen, Miss Michelle. Look at her, this gorgeous beach girl. Yes. Miss Amanda, excuse me. Oh, She's like, I came to slay, girl. Yes. Period. Yes. So gorgeous. Look at our beautiful friend here. Look at this background. I love that. Yes. Miss Captain, look at our gorgeous Miss Captain Harris. Look at her. Oh, stop everything. Please. She's so beautiful. Our nurse of interest, our queen. Look at her. We're a magnifying glass. Oh, look at Miss D. Stop. Look at this gorgeous queen. Yes. And look, we're like matching with red lippies. Oh, red lippies and little kitties. Oh, that might be a thing, girl. What? Oh my God. Hello, Wolf Clan Plumber. I remember that you were from Lady Zelda's. Welcome. Look at your little kitties. Is that little kitties? That is a kitty. So cute. And our girl Bossy. Stop it. Look at that queen. Oh. Period. Look at Miss Melanie. Yes, our Melanie. How are you, my beautiful girl? Yes, Miss Erin. Stop it. Yes, Miss Erin. Period. You're all winners to me, okay? I'm sorry. I love it so much. Stop it. You guys are so cute. I can't. But ooh, oh my God, that like the nanny lady, right? She's so beautiful, that woman. Like she aged even beautifully. Like, I mean, that's the thing. I think that like the aging process like is so beautiful to me because it's like however you choose. It's the fact that you get to live to see life through all these phases. And I think that's what I really appreciate about the aging process and why I'm like, yeah, I want to live to 100. I want to see what's going on. I want to see my grandbabies, 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 grandbabies if I can, right? Like you see your lineage and you're like, wow, look at this. Like, I just don't want, my hip to be cracking, these knees to be buckling. All right. I don't want to be that brittle. So that's why I'm trying to keep the protein up so that we can keep our muscle density, our bone density, and all the things and keep working out to maintain whatever we know we're going to naturally lose because that's just a part of aging too. I mean, we're not going to be young forever, but we are mentally young forever. In that respect, I love that you lose your curiosity and the fun that you like to have and just like really just be happy. Youthfulness is happiness, right? So in my opinion. So it's like when you have that, it kind of like radiates out of you. So I love that. And yes, collagen and protein. Listen, I take my collagen every morning. I mix it in my coffee, but I make sure I have a protein source with it because apparently like it's not a complete protein. So you have to like, I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a medical professional, honey, but I am trying to, continue to do weights, but not in the same way. So I talked about this a couple of times in like other lives. I've been doing resistance band training instead because as we age, like, and again, like I think the aging thing is probably a topic I would love to get feedback on what to talk about because like I feel like there isn't a lot of information. Like there is, but there isn't. Like a lot of studies on women's bodies as we age and that, some of the workouts that we see like as we get older, our cortisol levels are a lot more sensitive. So, lifting super heavy, doing a lot of cardio is not good for our system. So, like the yoga, the Pilates, resistance band training is a lot less impactful on your joints and on your body. So, it's not going to put it under constant stress, but it gives you like a more elongated, very like, a more elongated look, which is what I want to go for because I felt like with the weights, I felt like I was like not getting bulky, but I just felt like I don't know how to describe it, but I've been using the bands for like about 2 months now and it's been great. Like I love the transition from weights cuz like look, I'm not a 25-year-old man. I'm not going to be lifting 300 pounds, and that's just like my body's not it's under a lot more stress now. Like, I'm just not going to keep putting it under stress to prove that I can lift 200 pounds. I mean, it doesn't really matter. But if you enjoy it, great. I just think for my personal body type, it just doesn't work. And for my stress levels, which aren't very high, it's just not great either. So I'm just trying to learn what works for me and also what works for women too, because there's just not a lot of information on that. And I wish there was, but here we are. Lots of studies are sometimes done, mostly like, especially for the workout. Like, I mean, I've seen it mostly for men, but I could be wrong. I don't clock me on that. I don't know. So that's just my very like one lane, not very researched lens. And please correct me if I'm wrong with that. But yeah, like, so getting back to like the spiritual awakening after indulging in our little cookie there, delicioso. Yeah, I think that like, we all just kind of get to a point that, what I realized in all of that is that your higher source, your higher power, your higher, consciousness, whatever you want to address it as, it's always there, ready to have you receive it. So if it's God is always there listening. He's just like, hello, like I've been here the whole time. Why aren't you talking to me? I'm here. You just don't want to listen. And that's where discernment kind of creates the main thing here. It's like discernment is also learning how to not allow your ego to be what judges. It's like learning to allow God to take the wheel for you. And it's not going to make sense for people. So, you learn a lot about yourself, and you just realize that, you know what, if we're born into a handicap system where we have like, if let's say this is the devil's playground and it's a handicap system, it doesn't mean that we have to remain there always. There are ways to like hack it, like, and hacking it is with healing. Healing will do wonders for you. Okay. And people don't really talk about that much because people are afraid to not step into the unknown. They don't want to go into the unknown. The unknown is not predictable, and the unknown is the key. It's letting go of what you think or the comforts that you've built around yourself, and to allow yourself to just like trust. How many people can honestly say that they trust? I didn't. And even with certain experiences, it's hard to, right? Like when you have your foundation, your childhood, if it's, involves a lot of trauma or whatever the case may be, it's hard to trust as an adult. That sets the foundation of your nervous system and how you have relationships with other people. But when you step into the unknown, knowing that like God is in charge of everything, then it's a little bit different. You like nowadays, like I'm just like, God, I don't understand why you're asking me to do this, but I'm going to trust that there's a reason for it and there's a purpose. That's hard, you guys. Especially for most of us, because when we go through experiences as kids or whatever the case may be, it's almost like it is a loss of control. So then you automatically compensate by wanting to be controlling of like the circumstances around you. And that's so hard to balance. I had to learn that. I had to learn, like, if I like something, it doesn't mean somebody else is going to like it. It doesn't mean that I have to convince people of those things. Like before, it would just be like, please hear me. Please listen to what I'm saying. And then it's like, well, if they don't want to hear you and they don't want to believe you, then that's their right. They're just not for you. But I used to feel so sad about it because I was like, why don't they believe me? And it's like, but you know what? At this point, it's like, it doesn't matter. Because if people believe you, they believe you. And if they don't, they don't. Everyone has a right to change their mind. Everyone is free to do what they want to do. But the truth is going to be the truth regardless. It's already documented in history. So whether, my childhood may not have been in the lens of somebody else who was in control, might think that, oh, well, I was doing the best for you. But from my lens, it's like you were controlling me. I didn't feel free. I felt trapped. So there's two different perceptions going on, right? But ultimately, the universe, God, has that all documented. Well, this, reaction caused this, and this caused that. So how do you rationalize those experiences to find a point of healing? And for me, what helped was to put myself in the shoes of the people who caused me the most pain. Yep, that was hard because I had to humanize and understand and have compassion for someone who harmed me when I was a child. That sucked. But I think that process taught me that it's part of the reason why, like, even though things happen and people behave the way that they do or experiences happen, putting yourself in the position of the person, we can all relate to that. That's why I don't carry any resentment. Let me give you the fountain of youth. Resentment is what ages you. Forgiveness is the fountain of youth. Yep. Forgiveness is the fountain of youth, honey. Do you see? Like, hello, like, forgiveness is that. So, do bad things happen? Yes. Do bad things happen to good people? Yes. Do bad things happen to bad people? Yes. It's just that you shouldn't be the one to do that to others because we're not, even if you feel you're justified, you know, like there were things that the adults in my life were doing that I'm like, is that really the right form of punishment? We can't think of an alternative. Like, you know, when I had my daughter, like I was just like, I'm not going to use the same methods that I grew up with. I'm going to try to like help her to understand. And I can't say I always get this right. Okay. I'm not, again, I'm learning to be a parent while healing my wounds and also being present so that the future looks a little bit better. Hi, we're like everything, everywhere, all at once, all around, all the time. That's what it feels like. It feels like there's like multiple realities happening at once. Okay. And like trying to balance all of that. It's a hard thing. EJ, you beautiful. EJ, you are like stunning. Stop, EJ. Girl. EJ, not David. Thank you for being such a like good sport about that because like look, your girl sometimes it's like Friday is almost 10 o'clock, you know, sometimes I'm like in my own world, girl. And some I'm like, huh, what? I'm like reading, I'm trying to do so many things. It's like that's when it stopped, you know, like, oh, stop it. No, I'm gonna leave you there because you're so beautiful. Stop it. So what is forgiveness? That's a great question. I think it's going to look different for everyone, but I do think that forgiveness is a key for you to be able to release what's holding you prisoner. And it's, you know, people say it's not for the other person, and I get that. You know, we're not going to always get closure because that's a big thing that we were sold on. Oh, I need closure. You don't need closure, baby. Nope. Because that's assuming that the other person who wronged you is going to understand that they wronged you. That you're not going to always get that. So forgiveness is more to release yourself, but also forgiving the other person, even if you don't get that in return, is also a part of the freedom. And that is, in my opinion, the way to go. I don't hold resentment towards anybody. I'm always open to having conversations with people. I think that if they're meant to happen, they will. I don't force them. Like even people who wrong you, like, you know, there's people from my past that I'm like, if I run into them, am I going to be like, oh, these people? No, I'll just be like, what's up? Hope you're well. Because like, I'm good in my life. So, and I mean, that really depends too. Like, I'm not going to say like, you know, if someone was atrocious, obviously that's your path. It's what you choose. That's how I choose to be, right? So like, I'm only speaking for myself. I don't speak for anyone else, nor is this advice. Okay, like I don't want to hear like, oh, Chimi told me to just say what's up to you, even though you like, you know, stole all my money and my inheritance. You know, I don't know. That's between you and the Lord, honey. You got to pray to God about what that is for you. It's not always for everyone, but like for the, especially like, let's say there was someone who raised me and I didn't get to say goodbye to this person, and this person caused a lot of harm for my family. So there's no point in holding that resentment towards that person because it's like they're not here anymore. I never got the closure that I would have wanted, but I had to like let that person go and just be like, you know what? It stays here. And thank you for the lessons because I don't want to be who you are. I don't want to be like you. And I feel bad for you that you spent your life doing what you did to cause immense harm to my family when it didn't have to be like that. It didn't have to. We had nothing but unconditional love for you. And it's sad that it happened that way, but it was out of my control. I was like a little kid, you know, and I didn't know better then. But as an adult, and then not being able to say goodbye to this person, like, you know, forgiving that person was the biggest release that I needed. And I just wrote a letter and then I burned it. Who like has done that before? Who writes and then burns it and then just like just go with the wind? Like I am a big proponent of like writing things, intentions out and burning them and just getting them out of your system, like clear the energy, you know? So I definitely believe in that. You know, it definitely is cathartic and yeah, sage and sunshine, 100%. And look, it's not for everyone. Like some people don't like believe in sage, some people do. I think you just work with the practices that work. Sometimes people will find like going to a church, going to, like reading the Bible, whatever the case may be. For me, it's flames. For me, it's like I am writing very vigorously, you know, and just like burn it and leave it off to the universe. Here, God, take it with you. And you know, with these type of things, like, you know, it's just good because it's like a release. Like I loved listening to Louise Hayes. Anyone knows who Louise Hayes is? She was so iconic. And she was very big in the like heal your life type of practice where your mind, you are in control of your own car, of your own destiny. And learning to love through very difficult circumstances is the answer to freedom of your soul, in my opinion. At least that's what I was able to like take out of that. So I loved her practices and I loved listening to a lot of her meditations because, you know, fun fact, I went to Catholic school my whole life. From grade 1 to high school, I was in Catholic school and I went to an all-girl Catholic high school. Tell me that that was fun. You know, like that was a process. Okay. It was such a process, but it was interesting. We'll just say that. Like that's the thing. But you know what? So first of all, oh my God, D, you know what I mean? Yes. Oh my God, Melanie, you too. And EJ, this is a great idea. But I don't want to burn something in my house and then there's like smoke and the fire alarms. No, that would happen to me. And I don't want to do that. You see what I mean? Like that's what I'm saying. Look, yes. That's what I'm saying. It's like it was such a like interesting like experience because you're like, oh, pero okay, we're just in church today. Y'all are acting diabolical in the bathroom stalls. What are we doing? You know, it just was a whole process. And, you know, I just, no, no, don't want to revisit that. Don't want to revisit that at all. And I think it's because, like, in my experience, the church was just like, the Catholic Church just felt so like restrictive. And I don't feel like God is about that. If God is the creator of love and light and all things that are holy, I don't think that we're supposed to see Jesus on the cross like that. I have alluded to that before. But also like there's all the incense and we're eating the body and drinking the blood of Christ. Like there's just a lot of like, ugh, what are we doing? Like I had a lot of questions and like, but I also do like Christmas. I love certain things, and oh, Miss Elisa, that's awesome. And I know nothing about that. So I would love to like pick your brain and just see what your experiences were, because I think like organized spirituality can kind of, I mean, it's good because at least it gives you a sense of morality. Like I always felt like I had to do the right thing because I was like, God is watching me. And if I do not, like I just like had like the in the background, like a picture of Jesus on the cross. And I was like, but he died for us, you guys. I cannot freaking eat this candy. And like Lent, the 40 days of Lent, like I felt so bad if like I had like meat on Friday. But like my school would be like, you only had like, fish or like eggs, So oh man, it was so funny. Like there's so many experiences that you go through, and it's so funny how most of us can relate to them. So that is pretty cool though. Like maybe we'll do like a stream on Catholic school and that experience, because it's so different. But look, I mean, to people who practice whatever religion, God bless, like I think everyone's path to their own spirituality is a unique choice. As long as follow God, however that is, whatever you choose to call source, your creator, whatever it is, Jesus, Allah, like whatever it is that you're into, that's your choice. That's your personal journey. But in terms of who we are as people, we're all human, right? And ultimately, the whole goal is that we all treat each other with the same love and respect, and life would be so much better, right? But, that is what it is. So, yeah. So I don't know, you guys, like, I feel like, that was kind of like a little insight into my spiritual awakening. It was a process that I definitely don't take for granted, because I would not be an ounce of the person that I am today without that experience. I was very blessed that I had my husband around to be so supportive. Like the life that I live right now and that we've been afforded is something that is beautiful. Like it's not everyone has it, and I understand that, and it's for that reason that I'm very protective of it, and why I keep my family very insulated, and why I choose to protect it on a whole nother level. Like when you see certain things, especially when you come on the internet, people are curious, people want to know. Protect what's important to you, protect your families, protect what you value. Life is certainly too short to be stressed about silly things, including like counting the macros on this cookie. I have no idea. It's probably like what, 250 calories for the amount. The white chocolate definitely is 250 calories. There's so much white chocolate in those cookies. I just want to break one so you can see. Like, look at this. It's absurd. It's literally like, do you want chocolate with your cookie? My daughter's gonna love this. Like through everything. It's insane. And, a part of why, like, I do think that, when I came back onto the space and creating content again, that, you know, everyone's free to choose what they want in terms of the stuff that they choose to share. For me, I learned that privacy is something that's lost on us. We don't protect our, like, I think that because the internet made it so easy for people to share their experiences, that we got too comfortable in that, and we don't learn how to preserve certain aspects for us. And that's where I'm at in my life now. It's like, could I share lots of really deep stories? Sure, I could, but then at what cost? Because the people that were involved didn't necessarily consent to that. And if I, like, that's why I'm like, I don't say anything unless I'm pushed to say it, or if I'm put in a position to do it. So, like, with things in my childhood, I try to keep it kind of general. because even though certain people were very harmful, they still have a right to their privacy. And in this space and in this era that we live in, where there's an overshare culture, a trauma dump culture, I don't want to contribute to that, because, I do think that there is something about, you know, kind of putting that seed of intention out there so that it's also reciprocated towards you. Like, I don't share my daughter much. I don't share my husband much. Like, I keep it very general. Do we have like anyone else? Yes. But definitely not to the level, because I think that in protecting your home, it doesn't allow for more curiosity in like into your space. So like if I were to constantly talk about like my daughter or something, like, I'm violating her privacy. And she's a child. Like, why would I do that to her? Like, she's a minor. I'm not going to do that just to be relatable on the internet. Like there are like there's levels to things. So, I think that like with my spiritual awakening, it definitely taught me that too, that some things you have to go through alone, that not everyone should know what everything is. That's just my personal opinion. I'm not saying that whoever chooses to do that is right or wrong. That's your journey. That's your process. For me personally, I just like to keep certain things, a little bit more private. So if it's a little bit more generalized, like, please understand that the reason why is because I'm trying to like protect the integrity of other people's privacy too. Um, and I'll be as vulnerable as I can be given the circumstances. So if I'm talking about my own experience as a mom, like, I am a mom and I love being a mom. I didn't always love it. And some days I'm like, but it's everyone goes through that. If you're a parent, you can relate. But like, that's a test in itself. So I will say, it's been a process, and I hope that this stream, if anything, has taught any of you who are watching that, the spiritual awakening process is daunting, but it is necessary for you to be able to elevate to the next level. Don't allow yourself to constantly be trapped by your own circumstances. There is no sin that God won't forgive. And granted, I'm not God, okay? But like, if you were not a nice person, pray to the Lord, ask for forgiveness, and things will work out as they're meant to. You're not free from consequence, but at least the acknowledgement of it is at least the first level of taking responsibility. That's not for everybody. So, I mean, I just always pray for people, even those who have wronged me. And, I hope that this stream has taught people to just, take a second to reflect, and that, we've all gone through more similar things than different. It's just, we're all here at different times for different reasons. And if we choose to allow ourselves to be vulnerable within ourselves and allow ourselves to step into the unknown, you never know what you're gonna get. You might end up with a cookie. You might end up with a really good cookie, you guys. I'm just letting you know. So with that said, that cookie and all of these cookies are for all of you. I will always share my Kerrygold butter cookies with you all, and my delicious chocolate and things. I am so grateful to all of you for being here. Thank you so much for all of your love and support. As you know, like, I'm probably not going to comment in that video, just to kind of, let that be where it is. But going forward, I will try my best to comment to all of you who choose to leave a comment, to leave a like, etc. If you would like to support my channel in any way, links are in the description. And also there's a little PayPal in one of these corners. There's a Patreon at the bottom where I write twice a month. I try to keep the costs low. And when there's memberships, we're manifesting monetization, we're manifesting memberships. We'll be able to do something, a little bit more exclusive for everyone. If you choose to donate, great. If not, it's okay. I totally understand. I'm just grateful for your presence. And again, for everyone who attended this week, I know this week was a little rough. Please show kindness to everyone regardless. Like, if people, are in these positions to do what they're doing, I mean, they're all like, we're all going through something. And although we may not agree, it doesn't mean that we have to perpetuate things. So my hope and my prayer is that people will heal from this, that we can all move forward, that forgiveness is, from my end, I forgive everyone, truly. Like, I forgive everyone. I don't hold resentment towards anyone. I know people have children. Like, my forgiveness, if that does a little bit to not let it affect someone's child or whatever the case may be, that none of that trickles out, I will forgive gladly from the heart. I don't have any resentment. I'm very blessed in my life. So I'm just like, oh my, hold on. I haven't seen Miss Shannon in a long time. Miss Shannon. How have you been, beautiful? Stop it. How are you, my love? I'm saying goodbye, but I hope you can catch the beginning of the stream. I probably talked a mile a minute. I feel it. I feel like I was running the whole day. But anyway, with that said, forgiveness for everyone. Just let things be. And, I'm just very grateful for all of you. Thank you so much for your love and support. It truly means the world to me. And with that said, I hope you all have a wonderful evening, a wonderful rest of your Friday into the weekend. And if it's the next day for all my international baddies, I hope you have a wonderful Saturday. And yeah, I will check you out in the next one. Thank you for tuning in. And I am so grateful. I will check you out. I love you all. Cheers to you all. Enjoy the rest of your evening, morning, wherever you may be. And I'll check you out in the next one. Bye. And stream and scene.